Hey y'all, it's Jess from Hobby Jobby Creations, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I make what I call graphic patches. So these are basically just patches where I sublimated onto fabric and I made them into patches. It's quite literally that simple. And then excuse if my voice is going to sound weird. I got a new mic so that I can cancel out noise because I'm prepping for an event and I'm also still trying to finish orders, so I have to have Uncle Rico running in the background and he's kind of noisy. So if my voice sounds kind of weird or wonky, it's because I have to do the noise canceling thing. So hopefully y'all can hear me. We're going to go ahead and get started. So obviously go ahead and get your hoop ready. So what I did for this, and if you're going to be doing this, you're going to have to do kind of the same thing. You can either digitize your own outline for your patches, which is what I did, or go on Etsy or wherever you buy your designs at, and a lot of people will already have like patch satin outlines and things like that, and you want to make sure that you have it to where it does applique. So, you know, which most of them do anyway. So it's going to have the position, the placement stitch, the tack down stitch, and then the satin stitch. Because it's literally just a big applique is all it is. Now, some people have asked me what I do as far as what I use to hoop my patches. I use tearaway on the bottom and this plastic stuff that you get from Walmart on the top. Alright, so I've already sublimated my actual fabric and I interfaced it because I was doing a whole lot of prepping last night. But I'm going to walk you through what I did. So the material that I used for this is waterproof canvas. I used white waterproof canvas. You don't have to use that. I've also used white polyester poplin fabric. It's nice and thick too, so that one works for me just as good. I'm still trying to decide which one I like better. I don't really have a preference. I just happen to have extra waterproof canvas. I'm using that. Now, as for my process with how I went ahead and did these, like I said, I used the waterproof canvas or poplin, whichever one you want to use. And then to give it a little bit, I mean, the waterproof canvas already has a little bit of structure to it, but I want more structure than that. So, and you can add structure as you want to. It just depends. It's up to you. I think that what I have is good and it works really well for hats. So to add a little more structure, I use Pellon 809. And I adhere that to the back of this fabric. So I just adhere that. I sublimate the fabric first, and then I add the Pellon 809 onto the back of the fabric, and then we end up with good, you know, they're pretty sturdy. Like, he doesn't, I mean, I know he's flopping around, but they end up being sturdy. They're not, he doesn't fall over. He pops back up if I do that. It ends up having some good structure to it. So that's what I do. So it's just Pellon 809 adhered to the back of your sublimated fabric, and it usually holds up just fine because you're gonna, not only are you gonna be doing that, you're gonna have the stitching, the satin stitching to hold it together, and then also on top of that, you're also adding the adhesive to the back. If you're not, it's still fine. This one right here actually hasn't had the adhesive added onto it yet. So, and it's behaving just fine. Another thing that I do, and do this or don't if you want, it doesn't matter. I just like to be as precise as I can. If I took the exact measurements of my circle that should stitch out, you can also, if you have Embroidery or whatever software you're using, there is a way to export your stitch lines from Embroidery. You can export them as SVGs or PNGs or what have you. And so that's what I did for this. So I put it into Photoshop. You can use Canva, whatever you want to. I literally just did it to give me a little outline around here, and that's going to help me to get that perfect placement, like as close to perfect as possible, because I'm really weird about being precise. So I do that just as an extra step. Whatever shape you have or whatever, just take that placement stitch and then put it into whatever other thing. I know a lot of people use this to be able to cut out applique pieces with their Cricut or what have you. I do that for this to help me place it. The first thing that I'm going to do is I've already got my outlines digitized and put into my machine. So I'm going to go and I'm going to do my placement stitch, and that's going to be really important for us. So another thing I like to do, I use a dark colored thread for my placement stitch. So I'm just using black. All right, so we're going to go ahead and let him do his placement stitch. So now I have got my placement stitch stitched out, and don't worry why it's digitized so close together and weird. It's because I was doing something else and then I just never redigitized it. So what I do is I have this little light up thing that I bought on Amazon years ago. And I just put this on here. That's why I use the dark thread. I take this, and because it lights up, you see how you can see the circle through there? I just line it up onto that circle and I do that. Now I know most of y'all are going to be like, why don't you just cut it out? Every time I cut it out, the patch does weird things personally. I mean, some people, y'all may have figured out how to get that under control, but the fabric does weird things when I just cut it out first things first. So I just didn't want to do that. I didn't want it to shift or anything like that. So I just line it up like this. I take some of the basting spray and I just give it a little spritzies. And I take my guy, and then it's hard to see him on the camera. And then I just line him up onto that circle and then mash him down. And then I'm going to trim this down a little bit, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. So now I've got them both glued, I guess, down to this hoop. And so now I'm going to go and I'm going to run the tack down stitch around both of these, and I'm going to trim them up. Once I do the tack down stitch, I like to go ahead and use the actual color that I'm going to be using as my outline, and I'm using white. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, just because if any of the thread color is going to peek through, I'd rather it just all be the same color. So I'm just running my tack down stitch, and then I'm going to trim him. All right, so now he is tacked down, and as you can see, I got pretty dang close to that outline. We were a little off, but that's not going to be noticeable enough. So now I just have to trim them. All right, so just get as close as I can to that stitch line. I try not to cut the stitch line as much as possible, but it's about to be satin stitched over, so, you know, I just try not to hit him, but I do. All right, so now that we have him all cut out, we're gonna run the satin stitch. All right, so now we are done stitching out our design. We've got the satin stitch on there. I'm just going to trim down my little jump stitches. So now we are going to get these guys out of the hoop. I like to leave them in the hoop when I pop them out. It's just a little more satisfying, and I like the tension. So we're literally just ripping them out. That plastic stuff, it just rips right off. And then another thing that I do, got a little random clippy. Okay. I rip off the stabilizers, both of them, so I also get the plastic one off as well. I don't know if that, because I know plastic will melt under heat, and these are intended to be iron-on, and I don't want the plastic to, I don't know, create some sort of issue for the customer, so, or for myself for that matter. So I just take the plastic off for safe measure. So now they are all stitched out. So now for the finalizing touches. Where is my lighter? We are constantly playing this game together. Alright, so now we are going, you see how like all the edges are crazy like that? We're literally just taking the flame here and just dabbing them down, and it's going to smooth all them edges out. Okay, and they get even smoother after we press it for the actual, to put the adhesive on. So that's cool too. Now we have to put the adhesive on. So I use an iron-on adhesive. It is called Hotfix Adhesive. They sell it on Amazon, or you can go to hotfixadhesive.com. I know it's backwards. I mean, maybe if I go this way, y'all can read it. I don't know. I don't know which way is the right way for y'all because this is the camera split. Yeah. Hotfix Adhesive. It's the best. Don't use, some of y'all are going to come for me for this. Don't use heat and bond. You might know the trick to it, but your customers don't. I use Hotfix. Much easier. There's a lot less user error with Hotfix. That's why I like it, and it doesn't come off. So that means that I feel completely comfortable giving it to my customers, and I know they're gonna be fine. So I'm just gonna cut out my little slice here. I hope y'all can see. All right. So I'm just gonna cut out exactly what I need. Well, you know what? Now that I have this really weird stretch going off here, get out of here. I'm just gonna go ahead. I know this is gonna be like, I hate having excess like this, but it's such an odd shape and all my patches are like this. So, all right, so now we're keeping them like this and we're gonna take it to the press. So for Hotfix Adhesive, you don't have to do it very short, okay? So it's gonna be face up like this, not face down, face up. Okay, this is their directions. And then their directions say to do it for about 4 seconds. We're at 345 degrees Fahrenheit. And their directions say to do it for about 4 seconds. I've had to do it for 6. So, it depends on your press, I'm assuming. So just find what's right for you, but 5 might be a good happy medium. 6 works really well for me. But to protect my press, I have paper on the bottom, butcher paper on the bottom, butcher paper on the top. Because I want to make sure that I'm not about to get any adhesive on my press. And we're down for literally just 6 seconds. Alright. And then I just kind of press them with my hands. They'll be hot. You might not want to do this. But I just press them with my hands a little bit. Alright. And so then I usually just set them on a cool surface. I don't set them on my cutting mats because the cutting mats start to bow when they get hot like that. So I set it on like a table or like the lid of my trash can when it's closed. It's like a good spot too. So I'm going to let them cool. I let them cool all the way down before I start to trim them down. So now we are completely cooled. And I'm going to just cut a really close line around here. Don't cut your stitches here. This is the one where you don't want to cut your stitches. Because I promise you, if you cut them stitches, this guy's coming unraveled and patch is ruined. And I'm sure there's a way to save it, but I don't have time to save it. So I'm just going to cut as absolutely carefully as I can. And if you go too buck wild with it, it's okay. You can just hold a lighter to the edge of the adhesive and it'll melt right around the edges. It's not like a huge deal. I just don't want to have to do all that. So then you can or cannot do this, whatever you want to do. Actually, let me make sure I'm where I want to be. So what I do is I give my customers like a little pull tab. I've decided that I like keeping the backing to the adhesive on here. However, because I put my price tags on the back, and when I put my price tags on the back with the glue, I've noticed that it sticks to the adhesive and my price tags pull the adhesive off. That's not good. So, I mean, it just pulls like a hole where the price tag was, but still, that's not good. So, I do this, give my customer a little pull tab so that they can just pull it off when they want to use it. And there is my full, complete, finished patch. I know I did this tutorial like super fast paced, but honestly, it's the only way that I can do tutorials right now because I am, thanks be to God, swamped. I am absolutely swamped. So it is the height of market season. I'm also trying to prep as much as I can for 4th of July, which is my biggest event of the year. So I apologize if my tutorials seem rushed or crazy, but I'm trying to get them out to y'all while also at the same time being able to maintain my business and stuff too. So because I want y'all to know how to do these things. If I figure it out, I want to share it. You know what I mean? I don't gatekeep. We don't gatekeep around here. Y'all know that. So now I have 2 wonderful patches. I'm going to put one of them on a hat. I've already decided that. I'm putting it on a hat because I think it's cute. And it says, have the day you deserve. And everybody should have the day they deserve. That's wonderful. I love it. So that is my graphic patch tutorial. If y'all have any questions, obviously you can comment them below. I'll try to answer them as quick as I can. Like I said, I'm at the height of market season right now. So I'm trying so hard to stay up with social media amongst all of the orders and prepping and all the insanity. And then I've also got kids. So got everything going on here. But I hope that that tutorial was helpful to somebody out there. And yeah, I hope y'all make all the fun patches, because now you know that all you got to do is make a design or download a design online and then make a really cool patch and you'll have fun like I do. Anyways, that's going to be it, you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.